You know, you can't tell me that the cost of living hasn't gone up. You only have to pull up to the gas pump, right?
Well, they admit it now. 2 years they said there wasn't any,
right,
which is baloney. But and it's a promise. It was part of that contract for Social Security. But now they say there's no money. But my question is, what happened to the $8 trillion trust fund? There's been an excess of for years and years and years, decades, and almost a millennium of Social Security money. It should have piled up to about $8 trillion. Where is it? There's an IOU in it. They're going to replace it. No money. They had money for huge tax breaks for the rich and wealthy and powerful, right?
Well, you know, it's all about a question of priorities,
It
and
is.
that's why we need to focus on cutting government waste, because believe me, in New York State, there's been a lot of government waste, and we need to address
Got to
those
clean
issues.
that out. Caller, thank you. You want to take another caller? We got a bunch.
Sure.
Okay, good morning, caller. Hello.
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 Good morning, Senator Young.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Hey, I had a question, maybe a couple questions. How many people are on your staff?
Well, it depends. There's some that go to events for me, and they're very, very part-time. But in Albany, I have 5 full-time people that work on policy development, that work on communications, that work on a lot of the issues that we deal with. We get calls all the time from our communities that you know, are having difficulties, whether it's with a sewer project, whether you know, there's erosion. Actually, a road might be falling into the Genesee River in Allegheny County.
Well,
And then I do have...
Just a minute, sir. I have several other questions, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
Let her finish that one first.
Okay. And then I do have constituent workers. I have 2.5, no, actually 2 part-time and 1 full-time in my Jamestown office.
You have 2 full-time in Jamestown?
1 full-time and 2 part-time.
Are the part-timers, are they 1 full-time and 2 part-time? Are the part-times, what was I going to say?
They're highly
They
paid.
donate their time? Or
What's that? I'm sorry?
Do the part-timers donate their time?
No, actually they're paid because they spend a lot of time meeting constituent needs. We
So
get,
what is your payroll a week?
I don't know off the top
It's
of my
around
head.
10
I'm
million,
sorry.
something
You
like
don't know
that.
off the top of your head?
No, I'm sorry, I
what your
don't.
payroll is?
I'm sorry?
You don't know what your payroll is?
Off the top of my head, no, I don't.
It's
Well,
about,
give me a ballpark.
We're all, you know, this is how it works. We all get, as senators, we get an allocation for staff, and actually, this year, we've cut $4 million out of the Senate budget. So we are cutting back as far as staffing goes and other things. We're trying to
Well,
streamline
you don't want to
things.
answer my question. You want to tell me a bunch of things. I called to have my questions answered, not a bunch of other calls.
No. I'll tell you right now, it's less than $1 million.
Oh,
Her
a lot
payroll
less
is
than
less than
that.
$1 million a year?
Less than $1 million.
A lot less than that.
Quite a bit less. You know, it's
Well,
hard
it's
to...
quite a bit less, sir.
Let me say this, caller.
Do you not want to answer my question? The article...
Well, I don't have any staff at all. They're all volunteers. We lost him. Sorry about that. Call back, friend. This is one of those weeks, Cathy.
That's okay, you know, if people want to ask
Yeah,
those
sure.
sorts
No,
of
that's a
questions, they
fair
have the
question.
right,
and that's
right,
a fair-
exactly.
Nobody knows exactly what these figures are.
Well, I'm not sure. I know that, as I said, we've been cutting. Actually, the people in charge of the Senate last year overspent the Senate budget by $14 million. It was incredible. We uncovered it early this year, and that's a travesty. So we're trying to cut back quite a bit,
Well,
actually.
yeah, if you have, how many senators do we have?
We have 62 senators.
62, and if everybody gets even $500,000 for their complete staff needs, which is probably low, you're still talking over $30 million, so it does amount to a good buck.
It
And
does.
you said you ran over
It
about
does.
14 last
But
year.
you know, I get thousands of calls in my district, and actually emails. I get probably 200 or 300 emails a week. I read every single one, and we respond to every single one because I think it's important that people know that I'm listening to what they have to say. So, you know, we're very, very busy in my office. There is no fat in my office, and people do a great job in my office. They work very, very hard.
Yeah, I want to compliment Dan. He does a fantastic job.
Yeah, he really does. He
Yeah,
really does.
Boy, he puts out a lot of information, and basically tracks you for everybody so they can find you whenever you're out.
Right.
God bless you, one of the things you do that a lot of senators have not done and politicians is you go out and meet the public a lot.
I'm out all the time, and I have to tell you
do.
too, I'm very busy right now in Albany. I'm always busy, but I've gotten a lot of additional responsibilities. I'm chair of the Housing Committee now,
And you're in charge of money.
and I'm also, I'm
Finance.
on the Finance Committee, but I'm also chair of the Rural Resources Commission, which is everything about revitalizing upstate. So it's economic issues, it's healthcare, it's transportation, you name it, and we're working on it, and we come up with significant policy initiatives that are going to be designed specifically to help upstate. And I think that's very important because upstate has been ignored over the past 2 years with entire New York City control, so we're going to get things back on track.
Good. Well, that's very heartening, especially since they did strip us basically of our congressman. There's no way we could ever get a congressman again.
Right.
Because they took an agricultural area, which used to be pretty much with your Congress area, and they jerked it out. They say Cheney did this, incidentally. And they moved us in, and now we're part of Buffalo.
But it's hard, and that's the problem, is that when rural areas like ours get thrown in with urban areas, we do get lost. And so the redistricting process is going to go on this year and next. And hopefully you know what, I would love to get Chautauqua County back into the congressional district. And Amo Houghton, when he was our congressman, worked very hard to have that happen because he understood that the southern tier is very like in needs and priorities, and that it was important to have the equalization across the entire district of attention and resources.
Sure, especially since when we're included in Buffalo. Buffalo has a million voters or something like that, and here we are with 140.
Well, they've lost population too.
With 50,000. There's no equality here.
Right.
When you nominate a congressman, you ain't going to get one from Stock County. You're going to get one from Buffalo.
But as you know, unfortunately, we are losing 2 congressional seats in New York State because we have lost so much population, and Western New York especially has been hit hard. So that's why I'm so determined to turn around the economy. We've got to focus on private sector jobs and growth because it's our future, and our kids are our future, and we have to make sure that they have career opportunities so that they can stay after they graduate.
Well, we do have I think it's the second or first largest graduate education system in the world, the SUNY.
Right.
State University of New York. It's a fantastic program. Very low cost, especially when you start out in the community college, then you move into the regular college. It's not low cost, but it's low cost compared to other colleges in a lot of states. And it puts out a lot of very talented graduates who then probably move away.
Right. Well, you know, the thing is, too, that we have opportunities. Our SUNY system should be our economic engine, and we've done some of that at SUNY Fredonia. For example, we established that incubator program a few years ago, and that's doing extremely well. Unfortunately, over the last 2 years, SUNY has been cut past the bone in funding. And again, you know, the CUNY system, the City University of New York system, got cut less than SUNY. It's just not right. So we're trying to do all that we can to strengthen SUNY, and there probably will be some things later this year that we'll be talking about as far as making SUNY stronger. It's very important to our economy.
It's a fantastic system, and we should keep it up strong. I was in Paris for a while, and I met a guy named Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang was Chinese, and the Chinese had actually sent him over to France to study the Sorbonne system, and his next stop was Albany. He was coming to New York State to observe the fantastic SUNY system, and I'll tell you, it's great.
It is great, and I agree. I went to SUNY Fredonia for 2 years before I transferred to St. Bonaventure, but I love SUNY, and the only reason I didn't graduate from SUNY Fredonia was that they didn't have the major that I had settled on at the time, or else I would have stayed there. Communications.
Oh, there you go. No wonder you're so good on TV. We're with Cathy Young, our state senator, and she's doing a bang-up job, and she's here to answer any other questions. We just lost another caller. This is one of those months.
You know, we talk about challenges, Reed, though, and there is one. There have been a lot of successes despite the challenges, and one shining success was the saving of Westfield Hospital.
Oh,
because
my
that
gosh.
was such a battle.
What a
and
boon. And I
we
want to
got
thank
there.
you for your hard work.
Well-
and also my cousin, who's no longer with us in the assembly, Bill Parman. You guys worked hard on that.
Worked very hard on that.
I think everybody in New York State, upstate New York, in this area anyway, in the range of the hospital, and even Chautauqua County, including the sheriff, wrote letters about this.
It was great, and I remember I was at a celebration in Ripley a couple of years ago, and they were taping just people from the community and their concerns about losing the hospital, and it would have been devastating in so many ways. I know you're involved with the ambulance corps, and so
Fire
you do
department,
rescue
still in the
work.
fire department.
Right.
Although I tell them, speaking of ambulance, if I ever get on the fire engine, bring the second ambulance. You're going to need it.
But you know how, seriously, you know how important to have it is to
totally.
have Westfield open, and from an emergency services standpoint. And they wanted to close the emergency room, and of course, if they closed the emergency room, then the rest of the hospital would have gone. So we had to battle, and recently we had the confirmation of the new Department of Health Commissioner, Dr. Shah, and he's great. He's originally from Buffalo, but I brought up in the hearing that some of the funding that was supposed to go to the hospital to help them transform into what they need, where they need to be, was being held up by the Department of Health. So we got that loosened up.
Good, they give the money, forked it over.
He
huh?
called, well, I brought it up in the hearing, and he wasn't aware of it, but he personally called me a week later and said that things are set, things are good, because, we were concerned that they said we saved the hospital, but then their actions did not follow their words, and they weren't fulfilling the promise that they had made to us, so now they are, which is great.
The hospital, they cut back on the regular beds, I know that, but big deal. I mean, they weren't filled. Honestly, we can go along with that. But the emergency room is just a central fixture in this part of the county.
Exactly.
I mean, it reduces your time from, say, an hour or half an hour, 45 minutes, to the nearest hospital to like 10 minutes.
Well, the people, too, that are emergency medical technicians that go on these calls, if they have to go even further, you're going to discourage people from being able to do that because it just takes too long. And lives are going to be saved.
Cathy,
Did I sum it up?
You summed it up, and we just got that awful sound. We're out of here.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Take a few seconds and uninterrupted time, and you can close off. Time is up.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here today, and I am so impressed with your new digs. I think this studio is marvelous. I came here to visit when it was under construction, and the results are great. And Reed, thank you so much for all that you do, especially for seniors. I think your voice is very important. You keep people involved and informed about what's happening in the community. And I also want to tell people, if you ever have any questions, concerns, or ideas, I want to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. They're going to throw me off the air because I'm too much gloom and doom.
Well, no, but not only just you, but all the viewers who listen to this program, please let me know if there's something that you have a concern about, because I can't represent you unless I know what's on your
Thanks
mind.
a lot. Well, you got a quick phone number?
Okay, well, they can call my Jamestown office at 664-4603, or you can contact me by email, and it's cyoung@nysenate.gov.
Okay. Cathy Young, thank you very much, Cathy. I'm sure you will be equally responsive, too, because I know you are responsive to the people in this area who do have needs and problems. I want to thank everybody who called in. Sorry, last caller. Well, Cathy, you'll be back. You come back soon?
I'll be back.
Good. And we'll give you another shot. I want to thank very special people, especially Chuck Kelsey, who did this almost by himself with Devin Taylor.
Great job.
I want to thank Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Chris Ramaker, Mort Flexer, who's no longer, but he's still watching, Randy Burt, and Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, and all the other people who are out there who watch and enjoy our show. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.